Welcome to a podcast for nerds, the show where two dudes that met as kids discuss our journey with all things nerdy as well as life as we near our 30s. I'm Dakota.
And I'm Cody.
How do I sound over there, Cody? I can't really hear myself today.
You sound good.
Do I? All right, cool. Normally I can hear myself in the ears. I wonder if it's something to do with these. Oh, there it is. That's much better. Headphones volume, we're down. That's a lot better.
Yeah, that'll do that, you know?
Yeah, it happens. I can hear you just fine, not myself.
So what's up? How are you? We just talked not that long ago.
Yeah, like right before we got on here.
I meant like 3 days ago.
Oh, yeah. So for the audience, it's been a week-ish. But for us, it's been like 2 or 3 days. So, yeah, not a lot more has happened. Trying to think. I don't think anything big happened really over the weekend.
Yeah.
Just a boring weekend.
Same
Had breakfast with my dad. Been doing that the last few weekends.
That's fun. What did you have for breakfast?
Let's see. A few weeks ago, he made biscuits and gravy.
Never had that.
Oh, it's delicious. It's my favorite. A week after that, he made He made breakfast burritos.
I never had that.
You never had dude. You've never had a breakfast burrito?
I know, right? You would think, as much as I love breakfast and Mexican food.
Dude, burrito right up your alley. Breakfast burrito right up your alley. All the fixins. So good. And then last week, I'm sure you haven't had one of these, we had an omelet. We had I forget what kind of omelet he called it, but...
Why are you sure I haven't had an omelet?
You hadn't had a burrito?
Of course I've had an omelet.
Or biscuits and gravy?
I've had biscuits and... Okay, now is where we get into Cody eats weird.
No,
I've had biscuits and ketchup.
You're nearly 30 years old. You can't be this picky anymore.
I'm not this picky anymore, but biscuits and gravy isn't exactly something that you can find in the Philippines. I mean, I'm sure you can, but it's definitely not common.
If you ever go to get it, I highly suggest, personally for me, don't get restaurant biscuits and gravy.
Really? You have to get it
homemade
at home.
It's the gravy. Personally, we always and it's good either that gravy's good with either homemade biscuits or we almost always get just the Pillsbury kind because we don't have the time to make dough. We're already trying to make dough during the day. I don't have time to come home and make dough.
Yeah, I can't imagine someone. Do people actually? I'm sure people do. Yeah. Make their own dough and make. We don't. And my family is a Pillsbury family.
Yeah. Not a sponsor.
They could be Pillsbury.
Maybe, if you're interested.
What's your favorite fast food biscuit, or not just fast food, restaurant/fast food, not made at home biscuit? Easily
Red Lobster. Easily.
Ah, crap! I've never had it,
dude. Garlic cheese biscuits.
Crap. I wanted to argue with you whatever you said, but if I haven't had it, then I can't argue it. It might be.
It's pretty.
The thing is, you know how picky I've been my whole life. Most of my life, I've been pretty scared of eating a lobster.
So, you don't have to eat it. They got steak and
but
stuff.
I ate lobster in Korea.
Oh yeah, I don't like lobster.
It was pretty okay. Like, I didn't hate it, but I didn't get why people love it so much.
Yeah, I like crab better personally. I get the love for crab. It's just, the meat's a little bit sweeter in my opinion of crab.
Oh really? I've definitely never had crab, but I have heard people love crab. People who like crab really love crab.
I like crab a lot, and I like shrimp a lot too. I'm a very big fan of shrimp. I know you like popcorn shrimp.
Yeah, I don't like shrimp is rough for me because I like it better than most like seafood because it just kind of tastes like the chicken of the sea. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't love it. It's definitely not something I want to eat. But anything that's the chicken of anything, I'm into it. Yeah, for sure. Dude, we started both these last 2 episodes talking about food.
Did we really? That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, but I wanted to say my favorite biscuit. I'm going to have to try Red Lobster next time I'm in U.S. because I love biscuits.
Oh, dude,
my favorite biscuit, though, is... Honestly, people might think I'm lame. I don't know. But McDonald's has a really good biscuit. Or KFC's biscuit is really good.
KFC does have a good biscuit.
But KFC's might be better for sure. McDonald's is really greasy, and I think that's why I like it because I'm addicted to oil and grease. So, but if I want a biscuit that's like doesn't feel as much like it's gonna give me a heart attack, then maybe KFC. But that's also still kind of greasy. But yeah, I'll try Red Lobster. Next time.
Definitely recommend. Heck, we can just get some and order them and eat them on the show.
Oh yeah, that's totally something we could do. I totally forgot. I don't have to like go there alone. I could go with you guys. That would be fun.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So, what did you want to talk about today, Dakota?
So today, let's do a little bit of. We don't need to do catch up corner. We kind of just did a little. Not much going on with us. So let's start off.
You want to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What you got to say?
I was gonna ask if you wanted to talk about the one that I sent you, or you don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about that. I thought that's what you were wanting to transition to in later.
Oh no.
Okay,
No.
so yeah, okay, then yeah, let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Out of the way. Yeah, we can talk about that, but let's talk about One Piece Odyssey. The Odyssey gaming trilogy is just the weirdest. Right? It's just we got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which makes sense because it's taken place in the Greek and Odyssey,
right?
But then Mario Odyssey came out not long after that. Actually, did Mario Odyssey?
You are backwards, bro. Mario Odyssey is definitely
as soon as I said that, yeah, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey was the year later.
And I was mad. I was salty when it came out because Mario Odyssey. I know a lot of people don't agree, but for me, it's still my game of the decade for the 2010s.
Really? Over Last of Us or Breath of the Wild?
All of it, yeah.
Wow.
I'm not saying it's like I would argue that it's undoubtedly the best game, but for me,
it's your favorite.
It was my favorite for the whole decade. Like I loved so many games. I put a lot of time into so many games, but that game just I still think about it. Like I still want to go back and play it all again, like do it all again.
I don't know what I would say my game of last decade was. I don't know if I've ever actually thought about game of the decade.
I always thought it was going to be Kingdom Hearts 3, and then I played Kingdom Hearts 3 and I loved it, but it just didn't hit those highs for me that something like Mario Odyssey did. Or Breath of the Wild is really close for me.
I still go back and play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I would if I didn't trade it in.
I haven't even
Dang, I feel so stupid for that. It's one of my biggest regrets in life, man.
I finally, after trading in games for so long for different reasons, my wife now, anytime I even consider thinking about it, I'll be like, maybe if I traded, I didn't even get to finish the thought. She'll say no, because she knows how much dude, every game I've ever traded in, I wish I still had. Not every game, but all the good ones. Like, I've had so many good games that I've traded in, and I'm like, why did I do that? I had traded in Metroid Prime. I had Metroid Prime, and I traded it in on GameCube.
I also really regret... Yeah, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Especially with hindsight, like looking back now.
Dude, it's so hard to find now. You can't find it anywhere.
GameCube games are, like, so popular right now.
I know.
But my other big regret is trading in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. Which is a really good game, and I don't know what I was thinking. Like that
for
and
Switch.
Yeah, Tropical Freeze and Zelda are like the two that because the Switch I still have like the save, on my Switch. I can still see the icon when I go to all my games, and I'm like, what have I done? Like every time I see it, I want to play one of them, but I can't.
My Breath of the Wild, I still have I've never even restarted the game. When I play, I just go back and just mess around on my old save because I'm like, why would I start over? I have everything I want, and now I can just do whatever I want.
Yeah, just explore, find all the Korok seeds. That's what they're called, right? The Korok seeds?
Yeah, Korok seeds.
Korok seeds.
I say Korok. Maybe some people say Korok.
I think it's Korok. I think you're right.
That's not as bad as when I forget whoever it was we knew that called Epona.
Oh, who was that?
Actually,
yes, you're right.
I know who it was, but I don't want to say their name on here.
Okay, don't out them. Who it don't was. Out them. Tell me later if you remember.
Yeah.
I know them.
Oh, well.
Oh, okay.
Quite well.
Quite well.
You used to know them quite well.
Okay. Yeah, remind me later.
All right.
So, but anyway, to the original point, I was upset because I don't know why, because I I was like, everyone's gonna forget about Mario Odyssey because now there's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I don't want them to forget.
If anything, everyone's forgotten about Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah, I guess when you compare those two, I mean, of course, no one's gonna forget Mario, right?
I mean, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is going to be one of those games that in a decade, everyone's going to look back and be like, my God, what a great game that was.
I mean, I think people already do. Like, when I mention to people that I'm playing it, pretty much everyone says, oh, that game is like art. It's so good. It's amazing. It's already got that reputation.
I'm in an Assassin's Creed group. We talk about Assassin's Creed every episode. I'm in
Almost,
an Assassin's Creed and food podcast. But
I would listen to that.
Maybe. I forget my original point, darn it. I got so focused on that we've talked about Assassin's Creed literally every episode, I think.
You were saying that in 10 years? Was that
Yeah. In 10 years, I think that a lot of these games, like some of the, like no one really looks back too fondly on the first Assassin's Creed.
No, I definitely don't.
I remember
the first time I played it, I was like, why do people like this? This is so boring.
For me, it was a Dragon Ball Z situation where I literally, I played it a little bit of the first one.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is cool, I guess. But this Ezio guy I've heard is way cooler.
That was the thing for me. I didn't know which Assassin's Creed were good when I started. They only had through Brotherhood. Revelations was coming up when I started.
Yeah.
It wasn't out yet. And yeah, I was just like, okay, I'm going to jump in on the first one. I didn't even know it changed to another assassin in Assassin's Creed 2. I had no idea.
You were all ready to play more Altair.
Yeah, I was actually kind of mad when I first switched. I'm like, where's Altair?
Because Altair's kind of cool.
Despite the game. He is cool. And when they bring him back later, where do you see him again? Revelations? Mm-hmm. Or is that Brotherhood? You play as him again.
You see him in Revelations because that's when, because that was the big selling point because you could play as Ezio and Altair.
That was cool. It was really cool to play him again. He is a cool character. But when I was playing the first Assassin's Creed, I remember for the first 2 hours, I'm like, this is cool because it was so different. It was definitely really fun. I think what got me is that it was so ugly.
It's not a pretty game.
It's really not, especially when you see those I remember when the very first Assassin's Creed trailer came out, pre-rendered CG trailer.
That CG trailer still holds up.
Absolutely. Absolutely it does. I remember me and Chris watching it over and over. This is incredible. We didn't have a PS3 or an Xbox 360 at the time, so we couldn't get it, and we were just like,
you and I both got
our future.
We both got our PS3s pretty late in the game on that one.
We did. Yeah, I got mine
it was
late in high school, 2010 or 11.
I got mine in 2011. I think you got yours the year prior.
Maybe 2010, yeah.
And then I'd come over.
It was still pretty late.
I'd come over and I'd watch Netflix, and that's how we watched a lot of Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And anime and all kinds of stuff on your PS3, and it was so fun. Anyway, let's get back to Assassin's Creed, the Odyssey trilogy, and the newest game in the Odyssey trilogy is One Piece Odyssey, like we mentioned a minute ago. Now, I watched the trailer for this. My first question, two things.
Okay.
For me, one, I really, really, really want to play this. It looks
cool.
really good.
Yeah.
Two, is it canon? Is it part of the story?
I don't know. We don't have that much info yet. It did say that Oda wrote the story, right? So that's good to begin with. Did you see that?
Is that what it said? No, I didn't.
Yeah, at the beginning it says story by Eiichiro Oda.
So this is a story he's writing for the game.
Yes.
Okay, then cool. So
which I like way more. The amount of anime games I've played where it's just play the whole story of the show again, which is fun for
they've
the
already
first
done that
one.
They've done that with 90 One Piece games too.
Yeah, so many. I agree. I really want to play it. I'm really trepidatious when One Piece games get announced because they have a history of being bad.
This one looks good, and you can play as the whole crew. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, the best One Piece games were on the Wii. I don't know if you know these games. They were called what? Hold on, One Piece Wii games. I have to remember. I can't remember what they were called. Just a sec. Ultimate Adventure and Ultimate Cruise. Ultimate Cruise and Ultimate Adventure. These were the best One Piece games. I remember playing them. They only released in Europe. I had to I literally modded my Wii, not to like pirate games and do that sort of thing, just so that I could even have the opportunity to play these games.
You could unlock your Wii from the region lock
yes.
stuff. Yeah.
And I remember playing them and I thought it was fantastic and just wishing it wasn't on Wii, on another console, so that I didn't have to use motion controls. They did eventually move them to 3DS though.
Okay. And then that was when that one reviewer that reviewed the Pokemon game gave it a 7.8.
I'm not sure. Did that happen?
Yeah. They were interviewing her. I'm not gonna out them by the name. Yeah, whatever. It was the Callie Plaguey was the person who reviewed Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and gave it the 7.8 infamous Too Much Water.
Yeah.
And they had her on the Nintendo podcast to talk about that. And they asked what else had she reviewed. And she said, well, one of the other things I reviewed was I had to review this One Piece 3DS game. And then someone said, and how did you like that? And then she was just kind of dodged the question. Like she was just So it was like, oh, what? Did it have too much water?
I'm sure it did.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't know what other games were released for One Piece on 3DS. It could have been a different game, but yeah, all I know is those games were good, and the reason I brought them up is because they were an original story. They weren't just retelling the One Piece story. And the other games for One Piece that are good are the Pirate Warriors games, but those are just literally like what's it called? Muso games. You know what I'm talking about?
What is a Muso game?
Where you have you're a character and then you're like super powerful compared to all the other millions of like there's like 1,000 like soldiers like come up to kill you and you're just like do your crazy moves and like knock them all out. It's like the Gundam
Dynasty
games.
Warriors?
Exactly. Dynasty Warriors are the first Muso games, yeah.
Okay. I forget, I know what you're talking about. They call them something else on the things I listen to. I think they say just maybe they do say Muso and I just never understood.
No, it's got to be Muso.
I think now that I'm thinking about it, every time there's
what is it? Zelda, Hyrule Warriors. Muso.
Yeah, that's a Muso. Okay. Yeah, because there are a few Gundam ones that I've wanted to play because I like Gundam and I'd love to play a Gundam game. But do you know how many
I had the Gundam Muso, one of the Gundam Muso on PS3.
I heard they were all bad.
I loved it.
Really?
The thing about Muso games is that most of them are considered bad because it's just the same thing over and over again, and people are tired of Muso games. But if you actually sit down and play any of them, it's like, it's fun.
I sure would like to play that Gundam game because I like Gundam, and I would
probably sitting in my closet.
Probably. Somehow
PS3.
That one didn't get traded in.
Or I traded it in. I don't know. It could have gotten traded in. I can't say for sure.
I can't imagine that would be one of the games you wouldn't trade in.
I know, right? You'd think I would.
Yeah, you went through. You'd be like done with it. You would be done with the game. Be like, I'm done with it. When am I going to play it again? I don't need to play it. I'll just trade it in.
I still actually agree with that. Other than for certain games, it got too far. I think the tipping point was Breath of the Wild. It was like, okay, no, bro, you went too far now. Like, you can't do this.
For me, with replaying, I think I intend the games I buy them with intentions to replay them. I mean, I don't buy a game unless I think I'm gonna probably play it a few times in my life.
I actually feel different about this now because with so much digital gaming and where it can just like disappear. Like recently, I don't know what happened with it. Like if it came back, but there was a controversy because the Wii Shop stopped allowing you to download the games you had purchased before.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know exactly what happened with that, but now with those sort of things happening, it does feel like, if I really do like a game, I probably do need to have it physically just to be sure that someday I'm not going to be told I can't download it again and play. It's something I bought.
Exactly. And not to mention that if you trade it in, like say I traded in a copy of because maybe it's worth $30-$40, I trade in a copy of Super Mario 64 that I have. I would never do that.
Yeah.
It's a copy I've had since I was a kid. I would never do that. But say I just needed $40 for something at the time, and it's not worth that much. It's only worth like $25-$30. But and I traded in, and I'm like, I can just rebuy it in a week or two or something, whatever. Yeah, and then you go, and then they're going up by generation. Like when we first started getting into game collecting all these years, like in 2013, 14, and all that, the big thing were NES games. Those were starting to be on the rise, and now they just keep going up by console. And as they go up, as the demand goes up, that's as the price goes up. Because right now, we're at a point where 3DS or Nintendo DS games and GameCube games, and those were the two consoles that were out at the same time.
Yeah, those like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's worth a lot now, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah, they're worth like $80-$90, and not black and white is even worse. The cheapest I've seen. Yeah,
that makes sense because less people liked black and white when it came out, and then it got more popular later. It's one of those games that as like space, like since the time it came out, so it didn't sell a lot. Like Conquer didn't sell a lot, then got more popular later, and so supply and demand, right? Like it's
exactly.
worth a lot now.
So we're at the next thing we're on GameCube, PS2, actually. PS2 and PS3 games, depending on the game, really cheap. Especially PS3 games.
Bro, dude, the cheapest PS3 game I've ever seen. But yeah, you're right. I remember seeing how cheap, even back in the day. But Final Fantasy 13, for some reason, everybody had that game.
I had it.
I remember going into GameStop and Final Fantasy 13 being worth like, they were selling it for like $1. It's like a mainline Final Fantasy game, like 70-hour long mainline, the huge series. It's like for $1 because everybody had it, even if they didn't play it, they had it.
I tried it, but I probably would have liked it more. But when I played it back then, but I really didn't like turn-based back then at all.
Yeah, that was one of my first turn-based games, and the problem is it's not a good one to start for turn-based because it's so linear. It's not a good example of Final Fantasy, to be honest. I love the game. I actually do. And I love the music, but it's not a good first Final Fantasy, I don't think, personally. Speaking of turn-based, One Piece Odyssey.
Oh, is it turn-based?
Now, I don't know 100%, but they did say RPG. They didn't say action RPG. Actually, I'm in the other camp. I hope it is. Because let me explain my reason. Go
ahead.
Because I feel split about this. On one hand, it's like there's so many cool abilities and attacks in One Piece that are so fun to explore in an action RPG. But we've had that. Pirate Warriors, it is a Muso game, but if you want to run around and just do pretty much like every attack that a character has and like they're animated really well, it's nice and fleshed out, you can do that in Pirate Warriors. Whereas, I guess what this game reminded me of when I watched the trailer, and if you haven't seen the trailer, you guys should check it out if you're a One Piece fan.
Looks fantastic.
What it really, really, really reminded me of is Dragon Quest XI. The art looked exactly the same. And Dragon Quest XI is one of the best turn-based games I've ever played. If it's anything like that, like if the combat is anything like that, like the monster design, even in this One Piece Odyssey game, it looked so much like Dragon Quest, like where the monsters almost look, they don't look super menacing. They look almost cute and well designed. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if it were to go turn-based, I shrugged that off at first, but then I remembered that there is a Fairy Tail video game that's supposed to be very, very good.
And it's turn-based?
It is turn-based.
Well, the thing about turn-based is that I've learned as I got older is that, especially with crazy attacks and cool stuff like that, it can just be animated better. And sometimes sometimes when it's an action RPG, if you have too much going on, if you have too many crazy attacks and it's all over the place, it's actually not as streamlined, and it's kind of not as like it's fun the first few times you do all of these moves, but it kind of ruins the balance, I guess, of the game. Whereas if you have it turn-based, it could be more balanced. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But it did say RPG and not action RPG, so I'm thinking it might be turn-based.
No, Kingdom Hearts is technically RPG.
Well, it's an action RPG.
For me, I'm fine with it being turn-based, but if I would like it to be kind of like a Kingdom Hearts style action RPG. Just because I like the idea of going to be able to fight Lucci, not in turn base. Like if I wanted to fight the Lucci, the leopard guy, I don't think I would enjoy fighting him as much in turn base as I would actually button mashing and beating the crap out of him. Like in the anime.
I know what you mean. I understand what you're saying. I'm just coming from a place where I've played a lot of the One Piece games.
Right.
And most of them, pretty much all of them, are action RPG. They're what you're saying. And it just, for some reason, like the people who make One Piece games have not been able to do that well.
So maybe, hopefully if it's turn-based, I hope that'll work. Maybe it'll work well, and again, for original story, maybe it'll be fine instead of, like, it'd be one thing if I didn't get to beat the crap out of Crocodile or Lucci, but these other mustache guys in the trailer, maybe.
Honestly, if it's gonna be action RPG, I want them to give it to, like, Square Enix or Nomura.
That's fair.
Just let them, because they are, like, in my opinion, them or Platinum Games. Those two are like the best at action RPG.
Who is Platinum?
Platinum Games is like Bayonetta.
Okay,
yeah. They're like the best at those sort of things and making it feel right and work. I mean, Kingdom Hearts, to me, feels the best as an action RPG. And if you could get Luffy to feel the way Sora does to play, that would be perfect. I just don't trust that the people who make One Piece games. Yeah. I just don't trust the people who make the One Piece games can make it feel like that because they haven't shown that in the past. But we'll see.
So let me think. I had a point that I was going to bring up, but I think I forgot it. So we can probably move on from there.
I didn't want to talk. Oh, go ahead.
I did remember what I was going to say. That's, I guess, what you're going to get at. This is, I guess, going to count as our news corner.
Yeah, nerd news.
Nerd news.
Are we calling it that?
This is kind of nerdy. So the Oscars happened recently.
Oh, shoot. I was wondering if you wanted to talk about this.
Oh, of course we need to. I don't want to.
So remember, guys, this comes out way later.
Yeah.
So this is old news, but it's hard for us not to talk about this.
Yeah, so this is so I'm not going to go too in depth on it because by this time the meme is going to be dead, like way dead.
Right.
But yeah, Will Smith slapped the absolute crap out of Chris Rock.
Dude, when I first saw it, I was busy working. Izai showed me her phone and just handed it to me, and I watched it. And it was the censored version, so you don't hear what he says afterwards. Oh. And I thought, this is staged. There's no way this is real. I couldn't believe that it was real, especially with the censor. With the censor, it's easy to think that it's staged. It's like, of course not. They're both actors. Well, Chris Rock's a comedian, but I mean, still, like, come on. There's no way. And then I saw the uncensored version, and I'm like, oh, crap.
Oh, he's mad. He's fuming.
Yeah.
Like, it cracks me up how many people think he's faking it right now.
I know, right? I thought that until I saw, I don't know how you can think that when you see the uncensored version. I mean, other than the fact that he is like one of the best actors.
See, I'm a guy that struggles with anger, and anger recognizes anger. And that dude was angry.
So what did you think? What's your opinion on the whole thing?
My take on it. Now, my take on it is a lot of people say that, oh, he's under Jada's under his skin, and because if you watch the video, he actually, when Chris Rock made the joke, he actually is laughing.
Yeah, I saw that. That was the first thing I noticed. I'm like, oh, he's laughing. Okay.
So I don't But you look at her and she, immediately
Yep.
rolls her eyes,
I saw
Now-
all that before he hit him. So I was so shocked when he
Yeah.
hit him.
So I don't know what to think about that end. I don't know how to take that because he was laughing.
From
So a
what
lot
I've heard about that, it's just he looked at her and then was like, okay, this upset her. I need to stand up for my woman. That sort of thing. Like he thought it was funny and then he realized she does not think it's funny. And so he needs to.
I see it more in the camp of, he said G.I. Jane.
Yeah.
And he was already in the laughing mode because Chris Rock was making him laugh. And then I think he heard G.I. Jane 2. And then he was like, G.I. Jane 2, I get that reference. And then he looks over at his wife to get the reference, sees that she's mad, and then it clicks with him. Oh, he was making fun of her. He was actually, and then that set him off. I think that's what triggered it. But I think the ultimate thing is that I don't know if anybody... Will Smith's been getting a lot of crap the last couple of years, like a lot of crap.
Mm-hmm.
It started, I think, with the when he was in the YouTube.
Rewind.
When he was, it started then. That's when people started getting kind of little.
That was just like fun.
It was. It's not his fault, but everyone still was annoyed that he was there because
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was people like having fun with him. I feel like but you're right.
I think that started it. And then in 2020, it was found out that when him and Jada separated, they, of course, she cheated on him, even though they weren't together. They were separated, but they were still like trying to work things out. And then she went and had her entanglement with the guy. And a lot of people are getting real uptight about this. Now, you should never cheat on your partner, especially when you're trying to work things out. You should never cheat, ever. But if he found out about it, if he was upset about it because he never knew, yes, you can see the meme where he looks sad. But then, of course, the way she words it makes it seem like it wasn't even a big deal at the time, which I don't buy that. But to me, if you can clearly tell they don't care about that anymore. Water under the bridge at this point.
But he has to hear about it everywhere. Like
he's constantly hearing.
No one will let him move on.
The internet is constantly saying, and I'm guilty of this too. The Oscars thing was actually kind of a wake up call. For myself, because I did a little bit more research and started actually thinking, oh wait, these people are people, which too many people. Like I've seen posts where people are like, oh, you're a celebrity, you're in the limelight, you should be ready for jokes like that, and all you did was put fuel in the fire for Chris Rock, and it's like,
well, I do agree with that, but
well, sure, but they act like it's just. I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. People act like the celebrities are these inhuman machines that don't actually feel emotion, because when we see them, they're acting. They're not being themselves. We see them generally with a happy ending, and them being happy in movies. Not every movie, obviously, but generally, especially Pursuit of Happiness, Will Smith ends up happy, and you think, oh, cool, he's happy now. Will Smith should be happy. He's a rich man.
I Am Legend ends up happy.
Depends on the ending that you watch.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, I agree with what you're saying though, that it's kind of a wake up call of seeing like this is a real human. Like these are real.
To me, it is, but so many people are still treating it like, oh, Will Smith he needs to just get over it, and that's even what he said in his apology. Look, I'm an actor. I just need to learn to let these things go. I know I'm going to be in the limelight, and I know people are going to make fun of me. But I think after 2 years of people calling Jada out and saying mean things about Jada.
Well, there's more to it than just that. I mean, it's so crazy that we just mentioned his, what is it, autobiography or biography?
Yeah.
Autobiography. Last episode. I haven't listened to it yet still, but I've heard people saying since that one of the big things he talks about multiple times in the autobiography is how he doesn't want to appear weak and he's afraid to be seen as weak. He mentions that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then these 2 years of all this basically harassment.
Mm-hmm.
And then this joke, I feel like it was the tipping point. And in his brain, like all of this together, it's like, I have to do something or I'm going to appear weak, which is something he does not want. But I've also heard people with the Scientology side to this. What do you feel about that?
Is he a Scientologist?
Okay, well, what I've heard is they were talking about that they are in Scientology, but from now I'm looking more into it. What it is they might be, but it's not 100% confirmed. They 100% have ties to Scientology because they donated a ton of money to building a Scientology school. And there's some other connections. I don't know all of it, so nobody quote me on that.
But
Look
it
up for
doesn't.
yourself.
So, but he's not necessarily.
It's not 100. I don't know all the details, but he's definitely is connected.
He's affiliated.
100%. That is enough to.
Well,
I don't know everything about Scientology, but from what they were saying about it, one of the things in Scientology is basically like asserting yourself, like the men asserting themselves. It has an tone system, I think is what it was called. Can't remember exactly. And Tom Cruise uses it as well. There's been tons of examples of that. I don't know all about this, but this is just one of the things I've been hearing.
We're not going to get into Scientology right now because I could go on and on.
We shouldn't.
I absolutely despise
you should look into
it.
You should look into Will Smith and his ties to Scientology so you can get more info on it. I do know without a doubt they're affiliated. How far, I don't know exactly.
Well, at the risk of being blacklisted by the Church of Scientology, it's a cult and a scam. So that's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely.
It's 100% all it is. And I don't dislike any Scientologists. All I can say is I really, really, really hope you get out of there. I really do. I really, really do. And that's all I can say.
About the slap itself, I think it's more complicated than people give it credit for.
Exactly.
I think, everything we just talked about, it's complicated. Yeah, it's Will Smith. I can see a reason why he might do it. But at the end of the day, for me personally, there's no reason to hit somebody like that over words. Like you could have, even if he was really angry, he could have just screamed at him. Even like he could have said the same thing. Keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. Well, you didn't need to hit him.
Or if he's gonna go up on stage, get up there and just get in his face and be like, "Don't you talk about my wife like that."
Or that, he could do something. But why did he need to physically? And it looked hard,
dude. That was a good. We watch. I don't know if you ever watch Critical at all on YouTube.
Oh, sometimes, not a lot, but yeah.
We watched him talk about it, and one of his big things. I might need to
see that.
Yeah, one of his big things is he's a slap aficionado. He watches. He's like deep into the like slap games and stuff like that, where professional slapping. He's like deep into that and like follows it hardcore. And he was sitting there and critiquing the slap. He was like, "That is he said, I thought it was fake at first too until I watched the slap, and you don't even see his hand move. That's the crazy thing. His hand just it's here and then it's there."
It was so quick and so hard that I actually thought it was a punch the first time I watched it. I'm like, he just punched him in the face. Like the way that Chris Rock like reels back from it, I really thought he was punched. But then I watched it again, I'm like, okay, that's an open hand. He slapped him.
And he handled it very, very well.
I'll talk about that in just a sec, but that's another part of the Scientology, is that with the tone system and with asserting yourself, it's specifically like using slaps. That's why it's connected.
I hadn't heard about this. I've watched all kinds of stuff about Scientology, but especially if you've heard about the leader of Scientology, he does that. He'll go and like just scream in people's faces and beat them, punch them. I mean, he is a horrible, horrible man.
Yeah, you should look into Will Smith's association. But anyway, Chris Rock, the way he handled it was amazing. It just gave me so much more respect for Chris Rock, to be honest, to be able to keep his composure after that. I mean, I don't know. It made me feel like yeah, it's so complicated, but at the same time, it made me feel like lose a little respect for Will Smith just because I get that it's complicated. I get he's been harassed, but to go that far to slap him like that, there's so many other ways he could have handled it. To me, the way he handled it was like a big baby. It just felt like I'm watching like a man child handle something.
Well, you can also look at it. That's the stuff. I'm not defending it because I agree. But if you look at it in the perspective of, like, say, go back to the 1950s, that's what you did. That if someone,
but it's not the 1950s.
I know.
Things
I'm just
have
saying.
changed.
I'm just saying. Like, that's his mindset. Maybe.
Right.
You know, that's my woman. You're not going to talk about my woman. I probably would have. If it had been me, I would have cornered Chris afterwards and been like, "Look, dude."
That's what I'm thinking. Say something afterward. But at the same time, Chris said that he didn't know she had alopecia.
I didn't know that either, and I had no idea. I honestly, and I admittedly, I was ignorant and a jackass about this, but I honestly thought she was shaving her head just for pretentious reasons. But
I didn't know why. I didn't have any opinion on it.
I didn't have an opinion. That's just my assumption. I didn't sit there and dwell on it. It was my assumption, and then. But
that's the thing. If Chris Rock really didn't know, then when you look at the joke in the light of he had no idea. If he's telling the truth that he really didn't know, is it really that bad of a joke? Like, it's just a typical like roast style.
The worst it was is a what she did. She rolled her eyes. That was the worst.
I was annoyed at her when she rolled her eyes because at that moment when I'm singing, I didn't know she has alopecia. I didn't know anything about it, so I'm like, why is she so offended by this?
See,
I didn't
that's
get it at the moment.
Again, going back to, I thought she was just shaving her head just because she wanted to shave her head and be like, look at me, my hair is short.
And if that's what Chris Rock was thinking, then I think the joke, I still honestly don't think it was that funny at all to begin with.
It is not. But I think he literally saw that her hair was short. G.I. Jane, the movie G.I. Jane, she is a military person and she has her head shaved.
But this is Chris Rock's comedy. Like, this is what he's
a roast. He's a roast comic. That's what he does.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Like, anybody in the crowd should have been ready for this sort of thing. I don't know why.
It's like when they brought Seth MacFarlane to host the Oscars, and then he did nothing but make all kinds of sex jokes the entire night, and the whole night everybody. And every time the audience groaned, he looked at the audience and went, like, "What did you expect?" Like that's like he. What were you expecting me to do?
Yeah, exactly. Like Chris Rock just did what he does. And that's why specifically I was so shocked by what Will Smith did and his reaction, because it's like, bro, Chris Rock's not like a new comedian. Like, you know who he is. You know what he does. Like, I can't believe he would feel like it's some kind of a personal attack or something. It's like, you know, it's just jokes. Like, bro, you've been in this industry for so long.
Heck, we're in the age when really this all could have just been summed up in a tweet.
Honestly, yeah. But I don't know. I don't have any more opinion on it. Did you have anything else you want to say about it?
I did have something, but I can't remember, so I don't think it was important. Why you always gotta come over here? What? You know I'm gonna pick you up. He comes over here, doesn't expect to be picked up, and then here he is. Just
so
picked
cute.
up.
Does he have a collar?
He does. It's little suns and moons and stars.
Very cute.
It jingles a little so we know where he's at.
Yeah.
We gotta shake him so he can hear it. He's my little buddy. All right. On with you.
Bye, Jinbei.
Jinbei's name's Deku.
Okay. So, what else do we got on the docket today?
All right. So today, let's go ahead and do our consumption corner.
Okay.
What do we?
You want to go first, or I have two? How many do you have?
I just got one.
Okay, I want to end, so I'll go first, and then you can go, and we'll go back to me. My first one is so quick. Actually, both of mine are so quick.
All right.
The first one, I just want to say that I started playing Resident Evil Two Remake.
Okay.
And that it's fun. It's cool. That's pretty
much
much it.
I never played the original. I've never really gotten into horror games. I don't like the spookies as much.
Yeah, the only horror games I've really played and really liked are Resident Evil 7. Absolutely love it. And then all the Evil Within games. Only two. Love them. I'm like 4 hours into Resident Evil 2. I really like it, but this is just for anyone listening who's played it. I'm really mad because I got to the point where the big dude starts following you around everywhere. So basically, Dakota, imagine this. You're playing a horror game.
I've seen the big guy.
Yeah, you already have like no ammo at all because horror games just don't give you ammo. And there's zombies and crap everywhere. You want to sneak around slowly. That's how you want to play horror games. You want to go slow and listen for sounds. And then this dude just starts breaking through walls, following you everywhere you go. It's super... I was actually not scared, just angry. It's like, this kind of ruined how I wanted to play this game. I was even Googling, like, how do I get rid of this guy? Because, like, this isn't how I want to play the game. I find it
He's
annoying.
just constantly following you around.
It made me really mad because I want to play how I was playing. I was having a ton of fun, and now it's like I have to like stop what I'm doing and go run away and hide, wait for him to disappear, and then go back and continue. It's just like annoying. And I want to turn the difficulty down to easy. I set it on normal, and now I regret it because I can't turn it down to easy. Yeah, it's the only way you can is if you die like 10 times. So I'm really considering just sitting there and letting him kill me like 10 times in a row so to let me turn it down to easy.
I mean, why not? Will that take 10 minutes maybe?
Maybe. I'm not sure how long it would take, but just because on easy they'll give me more ammo, and right now I have literally no bullets at all to do anything, and I can't find them anywhere.
Why don't you just get good, bro?
I know. I'm just not. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. What have you been?
I just been reading a little bit of One Piece here lately.
Perfect. How far are you?
I'm still in Dressrosa. I am on the next chapter I'm going to read is 719 or 720. I can't remember. They just revealed spoilers for One Piece.
For Dressrosa. If you're past Dressrosa.
Yeah. They just revealed that the big thing they just revealed is that all the toys are actually people.
Ah, cool.
And
were you surprised?
Indifferent? I would have been if they didn't have that scene where the main toy soldier dude looks up at the lady longingly,
Rebecca.
And they both look at Rebecca. They look at
the lady.
Yeah, they both look at each other kind of longingly. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Oh, he's a dude."
But they can't. I mean, did they explain all the toy, like everything about them?
Not yet. The most
okay.
I've gotten is Nami, Chopper, and Brooke are fighting the art lady.
Oh, low tier fight.
Yeah,
not exciting.
It's kind of annoying right now. But they're fighting her right now, and because she says she turned my weapon into a toy, and she's like, "I don't make toys, I make art. The other guy makes toys." And I was like,
"Oh, right." I
was like, there it is. So gotta wait to hear about that. And Luffy, they cut away from it to focus on the Tontada people, and what's going on with them. But Luffy is fighting Don Jin Chao right now.
Cool. Okay. So he's still in the tournament.
Yeah.
The tournament's still going on.
Luffy and him. I haven't seen much of Bartolomeo yet. I'm still looking forward to that.
I shouldn't have talked it up so much, but I think it's okay. I really think it's fine. You'll know.
I mean, he seems cool. He's literally said like 2 words.
Right, yeah. You don't hear a lot from him until...
He's done nothing but nap, pee, and eat.
Right.
And snicker.
Have you seen him in the tournament already?
Yeah, he broke the... He didn't fight it. No, he didn't fight. The fishman went to fight him, and then he used some kind of hockey or something.
No, it's his fruit.
Oh, I don't know what his fruit is yet.
Oh. I guess maybe it's more obvious in the anime. Okay. It's okay. Or do you want me to just tell you? I feel like you can.
It's not that big. Yeah, go ahead.
He creates our... No, maybe you're not supposed to know yet. I'll wait. Let's just wait. And if you still want to know later...
Okay.
Yeah. It's not that big of a deal, but...
I mean, you can tell me.
Okay, he creates barriers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when he goes like this,
so
like
that's
a barrier appears.
So that's why he just didn't care what's going on in the fight because he knows nothing can touch him.
Yeah, he just has a barrier around him. It's like nothing, literally nothing can touch him, no matter what they do. Nothing can get through it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but wait till you see later. Okay, but so what do you think is gonna? Who do you think's gonna eat the fruit?
Man, it's not gonna be Luffy. Honestly, what I want to happen, I don't think this will happen. What I want to happen is I want him to get the fruit, but then do nothing with it.
Oh, just like keep it on the ship, like
That's what
bury it somewhere.
Keep it on the ship or near him, or give it to Garp or something.
Dude, when I was watching, I really thought he's gonna give it to Sanji. I don't know why I thought that. I guess because Sanji's already shown like fire abilities in the past.
Yeah.
It's like, just give him the fire fruit. That would be sick.
It would make sense for cooking and stuff too.
Yeah, but I won't spoil anything. I think you're gonna be pretty surprised what happens with it.
Okay.
Okay. Is that it about One Piece?
Yeah, that's it. Gonna read a little more tonight before I go to bed. Probably 1 or 2 more chapters.
Well, the thing I wanted to talk about will lead us into what we talked about talking about today for our main topic. You remember?
Yes, I actually need to pull something up, so continue.
Okay, this will lead easily into that. So you have a poster or a wall scroll behind
This
you?
is a blanket.
Oh, a blanket. I can tell now looking at it. Yeah, that's a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
Naruto. Izai and I started watching Naruto yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
It was weird, kind of, to watch the very first episode of Naruto again because I have only seen it once, ever. And, like, I guess it's weird because with One Piece, I've seen the beginning of One Piece so many times. I watched it in 4Kids. Then I realized, oh, this sucks, and watched it in Funimation. Then that was with Chris. No, I watched it alone. No, that was with Chris. Yeah, so that's 2. Then I watched it with you. So that's 3. So I've seen the beginning of One Piece at least 3 times. I know it. It's easy to remember. Naruto, I'd only seen it 1 time. So it was kind of strange to go back and see how Naruto changes. Even the pacing of the show changes a bit. The characters and the jokes and things change a little bit. But it was interesting.
Now,
I've only watched 2 episodes, but
from what I remember about the beginning of Naruto, there were a handful of little things that Naruto did that just annoyed the absolute dog pee out of me.
Now, did you watch it in English or
Japanese? Okay,
in Japanese. Okay,
it was
like
more
what?
Certain little mannerisms that they would make him do that I from what I've seen, he doesn't do at all later in the series.
Yeah, there's definitely stuff they get rid of. Like in English, I haven't seen him do this at all in Japanese, but the believe it thing.
I've heard him say, believe it, but it's always just, it's not as big a deal as it is in English, but he's said it from what I can remember.
Yeah, in English, it was his catchphrase. They made him say it like every other sentence. Like, yo, believe it, brother.
Yeah.
Believe it. It was like, bro.
The things that stuck out to me at the beginning of Naruto is when he would be like, he would make a statement, and then he would, at least in these particular subs, they would put "I say" at the end of like every other thing he said. So he'd be like, "I tell you, I'm gonna be the Hokage, I say," or "I will defeat you, I say."
That might have just been some weird fan subs. Was it fan subs or official?
It was Crunchyroll.
I mean, I'm only 2 episodes in, so I don't know. I'll have to keep.
I notice little things like that. And the other thing that bothered me is, why are his eyes closed half the time?
Yeah, that was his character.
Why? Why? It looks so dumb.
Are you mad about Brock?
Brock, it makes sense because it's all the time. It's all the time with Brock. Naruto, he'll go from having his eyes like open and being skeptical, and then when he does it, they make it look like he's trying to be wise and contemplate something. And it's like,
but you're right, they get rid of that pretty quick.
Because he looks stupid. Because it makes it look like he's trying to be wise and contemplate. And Naruto is not wise, or does he contemplate things?
I mean, to be honest, I did notice that last night when we were watching. I'm like, his eyes are shut a lot.
Thank
That's
you.
Weird.
Remember,
I definitely noticed it.
Because I remember the last time I tried, because you hadn't watched it. Because when I first tried to watch it years ago, I mentioned that to you, and you were like, I don't know, I don't remember that. Whatever.
Because that stops pretty quick, right? I mean, he definitely doesn't do that for that long.
It went on longer than I wanted it to.
Well, I'm gonna find out. Yeah, we'll see. I've only seen like basically through the sexy jutsu stuff with Konohamaru.
Oh, okay.
That's it. We have not met Kakashi. Nothing. Yeah.
Naruto's one of those shows where I finally decided, like One Piece, I finally was like, I'm just gonna watch Naruto or read all of Naruto, and then once it gets to where Shippuden is, I'll watch the final fight because I know what the final fight is.
Oh man, that's kind of too bad because
I had that spoiled for me years and years and years ago. So
the final fight for what? Naruto or
just Naruto?
Shippuden?
Yeah, I know what the last 2 episodes of Naruto are.
No, wait, I'm talking about of Shippuden or
Shippuden.
Naruto?
I don't know anything about. I know next to nothing about Shippuden other than Midara drops a meteor potato from
Why
the
do you
sky.
know that? Did I show you it?
I think I'd seen it from games, and then I think you just pulled it up in a clip one time because it was when you were really hyped off of it. But yeah,
that was crazy when that happened. It was like, whoa, bro. Yeah, and we hadn't met. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I almost spoiled something.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, you should watch that final fight in Naruto because it's sick. It's so sick, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to. I don't know what leads up into that fight. I don't know anything else about that fight. I just know that it happens, and that there's also a year and a half worth of filler right before it.
The final fight you're talking about, I think there's another fight as well that you should watch. It's like Gaara and Rock Lee versus another character. You'll know when you get to the manga if Gaara and Rock Lee are like working together for some reason. I mean, that's kind of a spoiler, sorry, but if you see that happen, watch that one as well because it's good. It's really good. I really like it. Anyway,
so what's the second thing?
The second thing?
Yeah. Are we still on a?
No, it was Resident Evil and Naruto. Those are the 2 things I've been watching. But Naruto leads into our topic because I wanted to say that the only time I've watched the beginning of Naruto was back in the day on Toonami. And I remember when it was coming out, and I wasn't that into it.
Oh, man, I remember when they advertised Naruto. Now, yes, today's topic is Toonami. We talked about that briefly last week. We're going to go through this, and I have a clever way that I do want to go about this rather than just trying to reminisce.
Sure.
I do have a clever way that we'll go about this, so we'll do that in just a second. But Naruto, yeah, I remember I was not into anime back when it came out. There were a handful of shows that I liked. Like, I could stomach DBZ a little bit, but it was hard to, like I said in my Dragon Ball episode that I did, it's hard to just jump back in and out when you're not actually caught up on the story,
Right.
So
where were you on like Spirited Away, Ghibli stuff, Princess Mononoke?
Where am I?
Yeah, when you were a
Then or
kid.
now?
When you were a kid.
Oh, I didn't even hear about any of that until I
okay.
became friends with you. I had no idea what any of that was. I think I maybe heard of. No, I'd heard of Kiki. And I think I'd heard of Spirited Away.
Okay. I remember being so annoyed with Spirited Away because I loved it the first time I saw it, but then they'd play it on Toonami like once a month. It's like, bro, I want to watch my anime. I want to watch my shows. I don't want to see Spirited Away for the 5th time.
Yeah,
Where's my
like
shows?
Like when Cartoon Network would play like Balto or something all the time.
Or
which
Iron
I like
Giant
Balto.
all the time.
I love Iron Giant, dude.
I love it too the first like 3 times, but by the 20th time, it's like, where's my normal shows?
Bro, you ought to watch it again. And when was the last time you watched Iron Giant?
As a kid.
Dude. You need to watch that as an adult. Way better as an adult.
Really?
Way better as an adult. Yes.
Okay. We'll see.
That's all I'll say. I'm not going to hype it up for you, but it's something I like to put on quite often.
Okay.
But so what I figured we would do with today's episode, instead of me being like, so what shows did you watch, and trying to...
Well, really quick, Dakota, before you do this, what is Toonami? For anyone watching who somehow doesn't know.
So back in 1997, I got it pulled up here. Haha.
1997. This is when it started.
97.
Wow. Okay.
It started. Now, let's give a brief I'll give you a brief history of Cartoon Network as a whole, because I've been actually funny that you wanted to do this. I just happened to be listening this past week to a handful of history of Cartoon Network videos. Cartoon Network was founded pretty much. It was the very first 24/7 cartoon channel.
Now, I remember as a kid when we got cable, I remember my dad telling me and my brother, there's a channel that's just cartoons all day.
Oh.
I remember my dad telling us that. We were in the kitchen. And I was like, my life will never be
No
the
way.
same. Channel 53. I remember.
53, 30, and 73. Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney
53
Channel.
and 30 only. Yeah. I was not a Disney Channel kid.
I didn't discriminate, but looking back, Disney Channel was the absolute weakest.
I think I went there every now and then because I'd be scrolling through trying to find something, and I'm like, there's some cartoons on here. And then I'd watch it and be like, it's not for me.
The two best Disney Channel original cartoons that they did were Proud Family and Kim Possible. You would have liked Kim Possible back in the day.
I mean, I know it from going to friends' houses and they'd be watching it.
Kim Possible, that show still holds up, by the way.
Okay.
That show holds up very well. But we're not talking about Disney Channel. We're talking about Cartoon Network. And so they were started, I can't remember the year, but it was the very late 80s, very early 90s. And the only reason they started is because the guy who owned Turner Broadcasting, his name was Ted Turner, he bought, I think it was MGM is what he bought.
Mm-hmm.
And with MGM, he essentially gained the rights to 60% of every cartoon ever made up to that point.
Holy crap.
Like 60% of every cartoons that had ever been made. So we're talking like everything that's not Disney or a Saturday morning cartoon at this point. Pretty much.
Right.
So, I mean, he's got the Looney Tunes, all of the Hanna-Barbera, all of Tom and Jerry. I mean, and on top of, they own Warner Brothers as well, I believe. I could be wrong on that, so don't quote me. Okay. So in Cartoon Network, he starts up CNN, Ted Turner does, as the first 24-hour news site, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, news 24 hours, who wants to do that? But then it became, one of the most successful news sites of all time. Or news channels, I should say, not site. Mm-hmm. So then he thought, well, 24 hours of news did good. Why not 24 hours of cartoons?
Yeah, and you got him.
Yeah, he said, I own 60% of these cartoons. He said, why don't we make a whole cartoon network? And he said, because people are like, why would you have to play 24 hours a day? Kids aren't even up that late. And he's like, our research shows that actually a lot of the time more adults watch cartoons than they do kids, and adults will stay up late. And then, they start producing their own original content, so like Space Ghost Coast to Coast, which was, based on an old property.
Well, this is another thing I wanted to ask about as well, is I don't just want to talk about Toonami. I want to talk a little bit about Adult Swim in there as well. Do you know?
Yeah. So that was started in 2000 and I want to say 1 or 2. I can't remember.
So Toonami's first.
Yeah, Toonami was definitely first. So we'll skip ahead a little bit. If you want to have a good, really rundown of a history of Cartoon Network, go watch. There's a YouTuber I like called Saberspark, and he's got a series of videos called What Ruined or What's Ruining, and he did a video. He's done 2 on Cartoon Network, where it was What's Ruining and What's Ruined Cartoon Network, and he goes in both videos into an in-depth history of the channel. Mm-hmm. And if you want more information on that,
Sounds cool.
I can't remember exactly why they started Toonami. I think it was more due to the fact that they realized that buying anime and dubbing it instead of just animating a whole new show was way more effective than,
of course,
and that the Japanese were willing to just throw these shows at us.
So was Toonami always anime?
No, in fact, actually, that'll bring us into a good point to start where I want to go.
Okay.
And I figured the way we could do this is I'll go through the original lineup of Toonami, and that
cool.
and that goes from 1997 to 2004, and that's when
Okay.
Toonami ended. Was 2004.
Oh,
So-
okay. Man,
And
it
when-
was only that. It wasn't even 10 years.
Mm-mm.
That's crazy because Toonami was such an instrumental part of my childhood. I don't know about you because you weren't as into anime. Like, yeah, let me ask you that before we start going through this. Was Toonami a big thing for you?
Oh, I watched it. There were definitely times when I watched it, but I didn't seek it out. I wasn't like, yes, Toonami. It was more like, Toonami's on, I guess. I guess that's what I'm watching.
Man,
And then
Toonami
if
was everything for me. Me and Chris, like, I remember when it would, because they had a special intro. They always had Tom in between every
Oh, yeah.
show, like, talking. And we were so into it as kids. Me and Chris watched it up to the end.
So let me see.
And honestly,
afternoon.
let me just say really quick, I think without Toonami, we would not be here right now. I can safely say that. I may have still found anime eventually, but it was definitely Toonami that did it. Without Toonami, no.
Sorry, I was reading a thing.
Oh,
But-
sure.
Making sure I had my facts right. Yeah, for me, it was more because a lot of people, it was right after school, because when it started,
Yep.
it was an after school thing, and then it moved to Saturdays at
I
midnight.
remember when it moved to Saturday. No,
Well,
it,
it
didn't
wasn't
move
just
to midnight
Saturday.
until
yeah,
later.
it did. They did that later, but it would
Yeah.
move to Saturdays at 7, I think, 6 or 7.
I was so
is when it
mad.
started. And that was just once a week too.
I was
So,
mad.
but yeah, I remember when I'd come home. There was a point when I'd come home, and occasionally it'd be go in, Toonami would be on. Okay, I guess this is
Right.
what I'm doing for a few hours, unless I feel like doing something else,
Right.
which often I did because anime didn't grab me when I was a kid. But
Right. So you're switching to like Nickelodeon at that point.
yeah, and all that's on or whatever.
Never seen
And
it.
it was such a funny show when I was a kid. I don't know if it holds up at all now. Some of it does, but I lost my train of thought. So Toonami would run weekdays. I would actually get off the bus at my grandma's
Mm.
and at her work, and she didn't have cable there, so I was stuck watching whatever Disney ABC was playing. Cartoons after school were playing, which was a
Right.
lot of like Recess, and Pokemon and Digimon would play every now and then.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
Pokemon was only on Cartoon Network.
See, when I first discovered Pokemon, it was at my grandma's shop. I got off the school, turned on the TV, and this magical show that had a yellow mouse in it came on, and I was like, what is this?
What channel
And-
was that on?
I have no idea what channel it would have been. Probably because I think originally it premiered on WB. I think Pokemon.
Oh.
Yeah, it did because
Man, I
Warner
forgot
Bros-
about WB.
because it was WB Kids. And then they moved it to Cartoon Network because Warner Brothers owns Cartoon Network. So,
Okay.
so they moved it there. But beside the point, so I just didn't really have the after school thing. But the thing about here is it says that Toonami Saturdays actually started in 98 is what it looked like. They started doing that fairly early on.
It was only a year later.
That's what it looks like from the wiki that I'm on. I guess is not very good.
No, I mean,
Dates.
I remember it mostly on Saturday, for sure.
Okay.
But I did watch during the weekday time. And that's why I was mad on Saturday, because I'm like, I just went from having my shows 5 days a week to one. Like, this blows.
Now,
But
it
as a
didn't-
kid,
but it-
everything seems longer. So I may have only been, maybe I was only watching Toonami weekdays for like 2 months. But it felt like 10 years. Because when you're a
it could have
kid-
been.
Yeah.
So let's go. Now I'm gonna go by this show by show,
Okay, let's do it.
and it did not start with anime. It started with Thundercats.
Thundercat. I mean, it makes sense for it.
The original lineup of the original 5 shows that they would play for, it looks like it only went for an hour and a half every day too, 4 to 5:30 was
Okay.
Thundercats, Cartoon Roulette, Voltron, Cartoon Roulette again, which my guess is it was probably Super Friends or Space Ghost or something.
Okay.
So they would just mix up a bunch of old cartoons. And then the final show was The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, which I remember as a kid. I thought that show was cool as heck when I was a kid.
So the only one of those on there that's still relevant at all is Voltron?
Thundercats is still kind of relevant. And yeah, Johnny Quest isn't relevant at all, unfortunately. But then after that, they
So I never watched any of those. I just want to say, yeah,
okay.
I've never seen any of them.
Real Adventures of Johnny Quest was cool. It was based on an old 60s cartoon called Johnny Quest. But oddly enough, The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, which was a sequel series for when he was like older, took place in like most of the adventures took place in cyberspace.
Okay.
So it's The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Kinda.
But it's not real.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they would do other stuff outside, but a big chunk would take place in this seat, which is why it was a big deal, because they had like really cutting edge at the time CGI.
It probably looks terrible now.
The intro is still really cool. The intro is still really, really cool. It's hype.
I'm sorry, I know I'm probably jumping ahead, but was Code Lyoko? That was Toonami, right?
That was Maguzi. Code Lyoko was Maguzi.
That? What is that?
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, all right, cool.
So after that, they actually replaced Voltron with a show called Robotech, and it's still the same lineup: Thundercats, Cartoon Roulette, Johnny Quest, and then it was like that for a good while, actually, and then they finally replaced on March 9th, 1998. They replaced, or at least for a week. At 5:30, they replaced Johnny Quest with Beast Wars, the Transformers show. At this point, we still have... But they only did that for a week, it looks like, for a few days.
So it didn't catch on.
No, and then they went right back to Thundercats, Robotech, Johnny Quest. Mm-hmm. And then, May 4th, the month of May of 1998, they moved to... It's just back to the same thing. Okay, now, here's where we start getting interesting. Voltron, technically an anime. I mean, it is an anime, but they didn't treat it like that back then, so.
What's it called? Saint Seiya?
Yeah, I haven't seen it pop up here yet, at least.
Could have been on Adult Swim. I guess I don't know.
It might have been. But, then we get into where things to get relevant for us. On June 1st, Sailor Moon premiered.
Sailor Moon was before Dragon Ball.
Yes. And then it's still the regular lineup. Regular lineup, but it's shorter now. It's only... Oh, no, it's not. It's Sailor Moon, Robotech, Voltron, Johnny Quest.
Now you're making me question if I saw Sailor Moon before I saw Dragon Ball.
You probably did.
Because they were really... Holy crap.
Hang on. So...
Okay.
I'm going to skip ahead just a bit because it's more of the same Thundercats, Johnny Quest for a while. And then we get to August 31st.
So this is only like a month later. No, 2 months later, because that was June.
On August 31st, Dragon Ball Z premiered on Toonami at 5 p.m. So it's very real that you probably discovered these shows at the very same time.
Here's what happened. I can't guarantee this. I know when I first saw Dragon Ball was after school. Which would be August. School starts in August, right? I don't think I was watching Toonami over summer vacation. We were we hanging out?
No,
we not met yet. We wouldn't have met yet.
No, I don't think we probably, at this point, yes, actually, we had met.
So summer, I know I was for sure in daycare. Yeah, playing Pokemon. Maybe. Like very first Pokemon.
Yeah.
In daycare. That was a huge part of my life as well. I still remember. I have so many memories from that time. But so I would not have been watching. Guarantee, yeah. When I first saw it, they was at the same time. Come home from school, see Dragon Ball Z, and then Sailor Moon because I have nothing better to do. And that was around the time when, let's just say, I started to think, wow, these Sailor Moon, so there's something about this show it's kind of, it makes you feel an interesting way.
Yeah,
they're kind of, I don't know what hot means, but I think this is it. I think they're kind of hot.
A little pretty.
Yeah, I remember. So I mean, I actually liked the show legitimately as well, but that was another reason where I'm like, this show makes me feel a strange
For,
way.
for me, it wasn't necessarily the girls in Sailor Moon. It was the animation. Like it was
Me
something.
too.
It was something. It was an amount of colors I had never ever ever seen in a show before.
But I really
And
liked the show legitimately as well as a
mhm.
kid. It wasn't just like, yeah.
I didn't get
Uh,
into it just because I whatever reason I couldn't follow it. I don't know.
I mean, I lost it eventually, but I loved the movie at the time. Do you remember? I'm just curious before we go on. Do you remember the first episode of Dragon Ball Z you ever saw? Because I know what mine was. Was it when
I
I
don't.
showed it to you, or did you watch it before?
Looking back, I saw it on at my grandma's one time, and I think the first episode I actually witnessed was the one where Vegeta sees Gohan turn into the Great Ape. So it was fairly early on.
Okay, earlier than me. I spent years not knowing the Saiyan saga was a thing.
Really?
I didn't know it existed because the first episode I ever saw was when I think it's filler. Goku is on his spaceship going to Namek, and he has to go out in the spacesuit and fix something. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. Yeah. That's definitely filler.
Yeah, that's the first one I ever saw, and then after that, I was just watching. So my first arc was Namek and Frieza and all that. Come on,
Okay.
dude. Sorry, this
Uh,
cat. She doesn't know what she's doing. She's deaf.
you're good.
Yeah, but she's actually deaf.
That's all right.
She'll stop in a second, guys. I'm sorry. She does this while she lays down. Okay. Anyway.
So, so then we skip ahead. It's pretty much the same lineup for a bit. And then in March of that year, from March to May of 1999, we've skipped ahead to 1999 now. At 4:30, Thundercats gets replaced with the first fully CGI cartoon called Reboot. I don't know if you know about that show. It's one of those. It's one of those shows that people look back on really, really, really fondly. The CGI doesn't hold up at all, but apparently the story is absolutely amazing.
Oh shoot. Okay, I googled it.
Mm.
Bro, can you stop? Can you please put her out? Sorry, she's not stopping. I've never seen this before in my life. I feel like I've never even seen an image of this.
I've seen images and clips, but I've never actually watched it, so I can't say much on that.
This was on Toonami?
Yeah, for a couple months.
Oh, I'm trying not to judge.
It
Yeah,
was
the
more-
animation definitely looks bad.
Dude, it's got a huge cult following. Like, so many people view this as a very beloved show.
No way, dude. I mean, at this point, I was getting into like the anime style, not realizing it was anime.
Yeah.
So for sure, if I saw that, I was like, garbage. I'm not even gonna watch this.
Then we get an all-day Sailor Moon marathon in May.
So they have everything.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're looking at, they're showing everything. Okay.
Now we get to May 29th. Concluded with a Dragon Ball Z movie triple feature.
Heck yeah, baby. Tree of Might? Was Tree of Might in there?
Huh? I don't know. It doesn't say which movies. Oh, wait, yeah, it does. Tree of Might, World's Strongest, and Dead Zone.
Yeah, those are the ones I remember seeing. I probably watched that marathon, dude. I remember seeing those as a kid. That's crazy.
And during that marathon, we had Powerpuff Girls in between the movies.
On Toonami?
Yes, sir. They
Powerpuff Girls was on Toonami?
They premiered on Toonami.
Whoa. But then they switched off of it.
I might be wrong on that. They might not have premiered, but they thought they were cool enough to air in between Dragon Ball Z.
They were, in my opinion, as a kid.
Oh,
they
yeah.
were cool enough.
That show is great.
Yeah.
Then we go back to the standard reboot. Okay, reboot Sailor Moon. Okay, dang, I'm going down here. Wait. Here we go. March 6th, 2000, we get Sailor Moon, Ronin Warriors, Dragon Ball Z, and the
Warriors,
and the premiere of what would be a very influential title, Gundam Wing.
This is when Gundam. Wait. Okay, Ronin Warriors. This is what I was thinking of.
Ronin
When I
Warriors
said
actually came out a little bit before that, but yeah, Gohan.
Wait, what's Saint Seiya?
Saint Seiya is the Zodiacs.
Yes, okay, I was mixed up. In my head. I do know Saint Seiya, but I just
I don't
mixed
know
them up.
anything about Ronin Warriors. I've never even heard of it.
Dude, me and Chris used to watch this show. This was awesome. We had an action figure of the main guy as well. I loved this show. I mean, I don't know if it's good because as a kid, bad taste.
Right. Was it an anime or?
Yeah, as far as I know. I'm checking now just to be sure. Created by Hajime Yatate. That sounds like anime. English network is Cartoon Network Toonami. So yeah, it's an anime.
So-
I got it.
So that's all that's new there for a while. Sorry,
I should rewatch that, dude. No, you just brought me back, man. I did not remember the name of that show, but that's so cool. Ronin Warriors.
Here we go. In 2000, now talking July of 2000, they've added 2 more shows to the roster. After Gundam Wing at 5:30, at 6 we get Tenchi Muyo.
Tenchi Muyo.
Yeah, I guarantee you remember that one. It was like one of the first harem anime. Like, I don't know how they were able to air that show as kids. From what I've heard,
Really?
From what I've heard, it's one of those shows like, how did they get away with making the show for kids?
Bro, I've never seen this in my life.
I watched a few episodes of it.
Yeah, I just Googled it. This rings no bells at all.
It was
Okay.
It was on there for a while too.
On Toonami, not Adult Swim?
It says
and it's
Toonami.
harem?
It's Toonami, and I think it was a harem. I could be wrong. I think it was like
Oh.
it was an action kind of harem. Like it was action anime with like harem elements. Is what I think it was. They also added Batman the Animated Series to that lineup, at least for that night or for those few days. And then
Yeah, we're at the point now where like I'm not watching that stuff. If it doesn't look like anime, I'm not watching it. We got to that point. But I still didn't know what anime was. I just knew these shows that look like this, I like them more for some reason.
So I'm trying to scroll down to find something that I know will be relevant. We got some Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, of course, Gundam Wing. Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, and Gundam really fueled Toonami for a while.
Gundam is surprising to me. I honestly thought Gundam Wing was on Adult Swim, but I just Googled it and yeah, it looks like it was just Toonami. That's just false memory.
Going
my
through
part.
still.
What about Big O? You see Big O on there?
I haven't made it that far yet, but I do know it was part of the lineup.
Okay.
Dang. I'm still in 2000. Holy crap. There we go. 2001. Dragon Ball Z. Run Warriors. Batman. Superman. Batman. Superman.
And at this point, it's been on for Saturday
Here
for
we go.
years, right?
The first new show I've seen on here. Yes, this is Saturdays at this point. First new show I've seen, January 15th, 2001. They started airing Outlaw Star.
God, why do I know what that is, but not?
Omae wa mo moi shinderu. Nani?
That's what this from?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. I recognize one character. Girl with green outfit and white hair. I recognize her.
I don't know if this is true, but I think Outlaw Star... I'm not even going to say that because I don't know it's true. But it's very, at least artwork-wise, reminds me of... it like gives me vibes of a mix between... what's that anime that we... Berserk and JoJo.
Yeah, I honestly thought the quote you just did was from JoJo.
Nope. It's because the main guy looks like Jonathan Joestar, like, a lot.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I remember this.
There we go.
Their like logo, but okay.
April 2nd, 2001, The Big O premiered.
The Big O. Did you like Big O?
I never watched it. I've heard it's great.
I think my problem is I watched it as a kid, and even as a kid, I could tell something about this is good, But I think it was a little more mature than
Yeah, from what I've seen,
for
yeah,
a
it's a
kid.
bit more on the adult side.
I mean, these mech anime, a lot of times they are.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Especially back in the day. So I think that's something I should rewatch again someday.
I might.
Oh, it was on Adult Swim as well. So it hit Toonami and Adult
A lot of
Swim.
them did. A lot of them, I think, would start one place and go to another. Because
Yeah.
I haven't made it here yet. Oh, here we go. Here's something new. In June 4th, Card Captors, 2001. We're still in 2001.
Card Captor Sakura?
It just says Card Captors.
Is that a different thing? Oh, it does say Gundam Wing was on Adult Swim. Okay, I knew it. I'm not crazy. It was on both. Card Captors. Oh, when I look it up, it just says Card Captor Sakura. Wait, Card Captors, a different show. Okay, I found one. Never seen this before. Oh, it's just Card Captor Sakura. That's all I ever see. Okay. I don't know.
Looks like in October of 2001, they started doing Batman Beyond in the lineup.
So were you watching this stuff? So you weren't as into anime. Were you watching like the Batman shows and things like that?
I would, but I recently figured out some of that by myself. I was like, why didn't I watch any of these awesome cartoons? It's because when I was a kid, if it wasn't bright and colorful and happy, I just couldn't get into it. If it was too heavy for me, I couldn't get into it.
Ah, okay. You were legit a kid. You liked the stuff geared toward kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's only when I got older that I realized, oh, this was awesome.
Right.
I'm seeing a few. I'm scrolling down. They aired the original Gundam a couple times. It looks like still on Tenchi Muyo, Batman, Superman. A lot of that. Holy crap! This just keeps going. Here we go. June 3rd. 4 p.m. Hamtaro. 2002.
Oh, Hamtaro was my jam, dude.
Now, I didn't like it then, but I love it now. I love Hamtaro now.
What were you thinking back then?
I didn't like
colorful.
anime back then.
It was colorful.
It was. I think it was also like because it came out in 2002 when I was 10, and even though I was even though I still liked like Nickelodeon cartoons and stuff like Powerpuff Girls, even for me at that time, I was like, this is way too kiddie. Like I didn't like kitty shows or shows that I felt like talked down.
I'm an adult.
Well, I didn't like shows that I felt like they talked down to me. I like shows that felt like they were talking to me, not down to me.
Did Hamtaro talk down to you?
That's what I assumed it would do when I was a kid.
Or
at least that's what
assumptions
I'm a guessing.
based off what it looked like.
I mean, and it's not like as a kid. Yeah, not as a kid. I wasn't thinking, I hate cartoons that talk down to me. I didn't know that's what I felt, but that's thinking
right. The subconscious level,
yeah.
like looking back now.
However, there was a show, an anime I did get into, came out the same day as Hamtaro, right after Hamtaro.
Same day.
Yep. Zoid's New Century.
Bro, Zoids was so good, man. I loved it as a kid at least.
No, here's the thing. Zoid still holds up. The anime is amazing. Do not watch the English dub. It's awful.
Really?
Oh my god. I tried to rewatch it like a handful of years ago because I was like, man, I love Zoids, and I was really wanting to watch a mech, and I was like, Zoids is cool, and they're like a good example of CGI mechs somehow. And I was like, Zoids is cool. I really want to watch it. So I went and found the dub. I was like, here we go. And the acting is so hokey and bad. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. And you can't find the original dub anywhere.
Really? It's just been erased out of existence?
It's not on Crunchyroll. I mean, I'm sure I could find it on YouTube, and stuff, but that's going to be low quality.
You mean
episodes.
Like legally, like official release?
For at least not in America. Obviously in Japan they've got DVDs, I'm sure, but yeah, for that it just annoys the pee-pee out of me.
Man, I forgot about that show. Is there any? Maybe you just haven't got there. I just don't know if you skipped. Have you skipped over anything?
I've been skipping stuff, but I've been checking everything to make sure there's nothing notable.
Have you seen any like Dot Hack?
Take that back. I need to scratch. Oh, I guess I must have skipped Zoids at one point because it keeps saying Zoids returned.
Oh.
I was sure I didn't. Well, there.
Did you see Dot Hack on there?
I haven't seen dot hack yet.
Oh, okay.
Next giveaway. A 2-hour Zoids New Century Marathon titled Zoids Cubed. Is that?
Zoids Cubed.
Here we go. November 5th of 2001 is when Zoids premiered.
Ooh,
okay. And it replaced Gundam 8th MS Team. I didn't realize that was the Gundam show they were playing. I've actually watched that one all the way. That's a great anime.
Oh, okay. So what else after Zoids? After Zoids and Hamtaro.
Let me get back to where I was. Zoids.
This is like prime. I mean, all of this basically. As soon as Dragon Ball went on, up until the end, I was watching all of this.
Okay, so it's that same thing for a while. And then, here we go. This is a new one. On October 7th, G Gundam premiered. Sorry.
Gundam, I don't know.
Take that back. It was August 5th. G Gundam.
Okay.
It's the first Gundam show to take place out of the main timeline that I can think of. And it is essentially the plot of the show is instead of political intrigue and the robot and the mechs are more like big tanks with legs and tools of war. This is straight up a super robot show. And it, I guess every so often, the premise of the show is every, I don't know, X amount of years, all the worlds, every country pits in a tournament. They all fight in a giant robot tournament. And whoever wins that tournament, that country is in charge of the planet until the next tournament.
This sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, it sounds like a terrible idea, but it made for apparently a really dope anime.
So people liked it? Because it seems like something people wouldn't like. Like you change the main formula, make it a super robot show instead of political, and then the fans get mad.
I've never watched it only because I'd like to watch it in English, and I haven't been able to find a good English version. But that's just me. I would like to.
Okay.
But
what's next?
It's got its fans from sure. So let's see. G Gundam. 2002, they started airing He-Man and started doing Transformers. I think Transformers, that was an anime. Did a whole day of He-Man.
I watched the Transformers show on Toonami back in the day.
I watched a couple
really
episodes
liked
of it. Zoids, He-Man, Transformers, Zoids, Beyond, Transformers. Where is the... What is that? I've never... Oh, they did a giant robot week where they played this show called Martian Successor Nadesico? Have you ever heard that?
No.
But they also, during Giant Robot Week, played Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Whoa. Okay. I definitely didn't watch it back then.
No.
But that might have been a big deal for some people. I wonder if that was normally on Adult Swim.
I think it probably moved there.
Yeah.
So then we got Dygard and Robotech again. Have you ever heard of Dygard?
Dygard?
D-A-I Guard.
D-A-I Guard. One word?
Yep. Or no, sorry, two words.
Okay. Dygard. No, dude. What? No. It looks kind of familiar, but no.
Well, it's okay, because the next one on my list I know is familiar to you. On March 3rd of 2003, I didn't realize it started this late, Yu Yu Hakusho made its Toonami premiere.
I did not watch Yu Yu Hakusho on Toonami even once. I only saw it on Adult Swim. I didn't even know it was on Toonami.
Well, I have news for you, Cody, because that's the thing I needed to correct you on. I looked it up. Yu Yu Hakusho did premiere, or did move to Toonami. It did move to Adult Swim. It did move to Adult Swim, I believe. I might be backwards on this.
Okay.
It moved to one of the stations, but when it was on Toonami, they heavily edited it. Now the thing that
Really?
Yeah, it was heavily edited on Toonami from what I've heard. Now
When did it premiere on Toonami? What was that date?
Says March 3rd.
Of what year?
2003.
Okay, yeah, because I just Googled it. February 23rd, 2002.
That's
so
right.
Almost a year before it was on Adult Swim.
Mm-hmm. So, but then I think it moved to Toonami. I think that's where it stayed for the rest of its run on Cartoon Network, because that's where I associate it.
And it was
with.
heavily edited.
Mm-hmm.
Edited?
Mm-hmm.
It was heavily edited. Yeah, I did not know that. Okay, I only saw it on Adult Swim. I somehow did not see it on Toonami.
So now I actually need to, I've already corrected you, and now I need to give 2015 Cody a talking to.
Okay, what did I say?
You were adamant that it never once played on Toonami. Adamant. I just listened to this episode yesterday. You were dead set. You're like, it never played on Toonami. I never watched it there. It was only on Adult Swim.
I mean, I can see why I would say that because...
Oh, yeah.
In my memory, I legitimately don't remember it on Toonami ever. Still, yeah.
See, and that's the exact opposite for me. I only remember it on Toonami.
I heavily associate it with Adult Swim because of... I had seen like 2 episodes. No. I had seen 1 episode. And then I wanted to watch the next one. Mm-hmm. And then it was coming on. And before, Adult Swim would always play this warning that's like, the following shows are not for children. They may have violent, sexual, graphic nature, blah, blah, blah. And my dad was in the room and he saw that and he's like, should you be watching this?
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, it's fine. I've seen this one before. It's fine.
Dude,
and he's like,
that's
okay.
hilarious. You told the exact same story in that podcast.
I'm sure I did.
So
because
funny.
it's a really vivid memory for me.
That's
I'm sure I
so
told the
funny.
same thing.
Yeah.
And then Inuyasha as well was on.
Yeah,
Adult
that
Swim,
one I remember.
Sure.
Yeah. So we didn't talk about Adult Swim actually past when that would have came up. So
wait, I wanted to ask one thing really quick.
Yeah.
Or do you still have more to talk about with Toonami?
There's quite a few more, but we're also reaching the end. Justice League premiered. I know you like Justice League.
I did. I watched it before. Yeah.
Justice
Where was
League?
Teen Titans?
Teen Titans premiered on their Friday night blocks, from what I remember.
Oh.
I don't think. Let me look. I think it premiered on Toonami, but then Toonami ended 2004.
Right.
And
it definitely went on past Toonami. I know that for sure.
Everything else I'm seeing here is nothing notable for us. You got SD Gundam. Samurai Jack also premiered on Toonami.
Yeah, baby. I knew that was going to come up eventually.
When
was that?
I skipped.
Late.
I would say 2003. 2002, 2003. Because I lost where it actually came in. Rurouni Kenshin. They played Rurouni Kenshin on there.
Yeah, dude.
Cyborg 009. I don't know if you ever watched that.
No. I'm thinking of one specific show. I don't remember the name of it. I feel like you're going to know this. I hope. Right when I say it. American show. Giant robot. 2 dudes. The head is a car.
Megas XLR.
Yeah, Megas XLR. Was that on Toonami?
I don't think so. I think that started playing right around the time Toonami ended, which was like 2005, 2004, 2005. GT premiered in the final Toonami weekday lineup. This is the final lineup.
That's what killed it.
From March 29th to April 15th, the final lineup of Toonami was Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z twice, and then Dragon Ball GT.
Wait, what? Dragon Ball Z twice, and Dragon Ball GT.
Yeah, so way out of order storytelling.
Way too much Dragon Ball.
Oh yeah,
all at once.
But they only did that for a couple weeks before it ended. They did that for that was their last hurrah because Dragon Ball was their most popular show.
Right.
Right. But yeah,
and I mean, even me, I was done watching at that point. I wasn't watching Toonami anymore. I did not watch Dragon Ball GT when it came out. I said Super Saiyan 4 looks stupid.
Oh.
Because as a kid, in my dream, Super Saiyan 4 just meant even more blonde hair. It should have been bushier. That's legitimately what I wanted. I wanted even more hair than Super Saiyan 3.
Oh my god.
So when I saw Super Saiyan 4, I'm like, why is he red? It's not even blonde. That's so stupid. Like, the creators are so dumb.
That's funny.
Now, Super Saiyan 4 is considered to be the best thing ever about GT. So,
Let's talk
So
about
Adult
Samurai.
Swim.
Yeah.
okay.
Let's talk about Samurai Jack real quick because I think that's the last show I saw that you and I probably actually watched on here because that's one I know I watched. I watched Samurai Jack a lot. And I had the similar thing of why I didn't watch anime, whereas I couldn't get too into it. I liked it when I'd watch it, but it wasn't like my go-to show because, again, of the more serious nature of it.
So you were not into Samurai Jack as a kid?
No. I was into it, but it wasn't my go-to. I was definitely into it,
Okay.
but it wasn't my go-to.
Man, I loved Samurai Jack.
As an adult now, I tell you what, Cody. You need to watch the last season of Samurai Jack.
I need to. Yeah, I do.
It's not long. It's only like 6 to 8 episodes. You don't really need to see... You don't need to know everything about the original
I don't need
show.
to rewatch all of Samurai Jack.
I didn't, and I was fine.
Okay.
There are characters that they bring in from the show that you'll recognize, and you'll be like, oh, that guy. But then you'll just put together, the people you don't know, you'll just put together, oh, this is just people he must have met that I didn't see or don't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, the ending of that show is very, very good. I highly, highly suggest you watch it sometime. It's be a quick 1-day watch. I'm not even kidding. You and Izai could probably bust it out in like a day.
Okay.
Maybe 2.
I don't know if Izai would be into it. Maybe just something to watch on my own.
Oh, yeah. You especially. You could bust it out in like a day, 2, 3, something like that.
Yeah, I should. I mean, honestly, when it comes to Samurai Jack, I don't have a lot to say other than that I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And
now, you know what's
as a
crazy?
kid-
I don't know if you know this. Do you know who created Samurai Jack?
the same person as Powerpuff Girls.
No, I can see why you'd think that.
No?
It was the same
Because it's so similar.
It was the same person as Dexter's Lab.
Oh, I love Dexter's Lab.
He was Gendy Tartakovsky is his name. He also has done the Hotel Transylvania movies, if you're into that, and this animated show called Primal, which again I'm not saying. You know what? I'll save that one for my recommendation.
Spoiler.
So.
Dexter's Lab, I just want to say super quick because you mentioned it. That was the first cartoon I saw on Cartoon Network when I turned it on. That's what it was on.
Mine was probably
at least as far as my memory tells me. Yeah.
So, what I'm thinking with Adult Swim, we've gone on a while. It's getting late over here on my end. I got work in the morning. So all I'm thinking is next week you're hosting. Why don't next week?
Maybe we can. I don't know if I'm gonna have as much to say about Adult Swim.
That's all right. I didn't have a whole lot to say about this, but you kept it going. So next week, because I watched quite a bit of Adult Swim stuff back growing up, and we can just go through. We don't have to go as in depth as this because there's too many Adult Swim shows that we're gonna get to like now that we don't like Squidbillies or Metalocalypse. I didn't watch Metalocalypse or anything like that. So. I think we could do that. Maybe not as the main topic, but I think
I'll look up the Adult Swim show so that I can see what there was in case I forget anything. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Next week when
but
you're
I do
want to
know.
Go ahead.
I do want to know really quick because you hinted at it earlier. What is this thing that showed Code Lyoko?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we can go in more depth next week on that. But there was a time, it was when, I don't know when they did it, but I don't think it replaced Toonami. It might have. It might have replaced Toonami.
I really think Code Lyoko was after Toonami times because I was
No.
older.
It was Toonami was still on. Toonami was still on. But it wasn't.
It ran alongside it.
No, see, Code Lyoko came out on weekdays. It like Maguzi essentially replaced the Toonami afternoon block. Is what it did.
And then Toonami was just Saturday.
Yeah. I don't know when Maguzi came in to do that.
Maguzi. How do you spell that?
Miguzi. And that's where you get shows Code Lyoko, Ben 10, and the big 3 shows I remember, Code Lyoko, Ben 10, and Totally Spies.
I watched all of them.
Yes. Same. Didn't discriminate. Totally Spies was the least one, but that's only... The one I watched the least.
Same, but I still loved it.
Yeah, I
definitely
enjoyed
watched
it. Like it wasn't like because girls. It was just like it's not as interesting as the others. I think Teen Titans.
Code Lyoko was the
might
big
have-
one for me. That feels right.
No, I don't think so because I really think Teen Titans was on their Friday night block because they did
Okay.
Cartoon Fridays for a long time, and then they
Oh,
stopped
right.
that, and then I think that's around like 2003, 4. I think that because that's when Cartoon Network made a shift. They changed their like style in like 2004 from like being simple bumpers to now they have Cartoon Network City and all that. But anyway, so they I lost my train of thought. I do that a lot.
That's okay.
We
Sort of
didn't talk
breezy
about-
weekdays
We didn't talk about one important thing about Toonami. I think we brought him
when
up.
One Piece came on.
It was on Toonami, yes, briefly, very
Yeah,
briefly.
we didn't mention that, and we didn't mention Naruto, which I mentioned at the beginning. Did Naruto not come on Toonami?
It came on Toonami, but it was on there, but it was not for very long. I don't think because it was one of those like because I didn't even see it on the list, but it was on there.
So they must have started playing it after Toonami ended as well, like kept
Yeah.
it going. So there's some
somewhere.
shows that they kept going after
Oh,
Toonami
yeah.
ended.
Like-
Okay,
Probably on Adult Swim or something.
probably.
Which
yeah,
is why
it's
we
probably
can-
on Adult Swim.
Which is why we can. Which is why I don't think Bleach. I'm sure Bleach would have been.
Bleach
on Toonami.
was Adult Swim. It was Adult Swim.
It was,
for
but
me.
I'm sure-
I'm positive.
If Toonami would have kept going, I'm sure Bleach would have ended up on Toonami. I'm sure it would have.
For sure. Okay, we'll talk about Adult Swim next time. There is more to say than I realized now that we're starting.
Oh
to
yeah,
talk
Adult
about
Swim's crazy.
it. Mhm.
But man, I really had a thought I was gonna get at, but I just don't remember it.
Okay. Well, you said there was something else we didn't mention that we didn't talk about, and then I said One Piece.
Tom.
Oh, Tom.
We
I
barely
mentioned him
even
a little. At
we
the
barely
beginning.
even touched on Tom and how cool he was. And not only was Tom, there were like 3 or 4 different versions of Tom.
So, for those who don't know, this was Tom the robot, not Tom from MySpace, which you
Yeah.
might also still not know who that is if you're
What's MySpace?
not our age. Yeah. Tom was so dope. He was just like the coolest robot, and I guess Cartoon Network thought anime robots. We should have a robot in charge of the anime, and he should fly around in space on his cool ship.
What does he do? Oh, and then they even gave him story arcs.
Yeah, they did.
Where they
He
actually
died.
he died, but then
Or-
his personality, his body died, but then he gets re-uploaded into a new body. Is
Yeah.
what happened.
How many Toms were there?
I think 3 or 4. Because he eventually also became like this weird dude with like a face and feathers in the back of his head or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was
I'm
still a
seeing
robot.
Tom 6. Oh, Tom 6 looks like this could be fan art. I'm not sure. Or it could be from the new.
The current
When
Tom
Toonami
is
came back.
the current Tom is more akin to what the second Tom looked like.
Tom 4. Oh, I remember Tom 4. Yeah, this is Dragon Ball GT times. Here I've got a whole picture of them. Yeah. Oh, I actually forgot about Tom 1. Yeah, he was small.
He was a little
The
chubby.
one I
a little
remember the
small.
best is Tom 2.
Yeah, Tom 2 was the
2 is
coolest.
Yeah,
Um,
Tom 4 is lame.
Originally voiced by Sonny Strait, but then he was voiced by Steve Blum after that.
Really? I didn't
I
know
could be
that.
opposite on that. Might have been Steve Blum and then Sonny Strait, but I think it was Sonny Strait first.
That sounds right. Sounds right to me because he sounds more like Steve Bloom
Mm-hmm.
later on. Yeah. But yeah, we didn't talk any about the lore. We didn't talk any about Toonami's return. Is Toonami still a thing?
Yeah, it's still going.
It's still happening now.
It's only on Saturdays at midnight, but yeah.
I have nothing to say about it. Yeah, putting it at midnight I think was stupid.
I haven't had
in my
cable in
opinion.
years, so I don't even know. All the shows I could watch on there, I can literally just watch any other time.
Agreed. Who watches Toonami? Let us know in the comments below if you still watch.
I'm
Toonami.
sure there are people that do it. Like,
I'm sure
not-
there are, but
I'm not
I
one of
can't
them.
imagine doing it. Yeah, I can't imagine. All right, well, I have nothing else to say about Toonami unless you do.
No, am happy it's still going. I do wish it wouldn't have died the way it did and then came back so lackluster. But I am happy that
Yeah.
it's there, and no matter what you say, it affected tons of us.
And I gotta say, I think it was a mistake to kill off Toonami when they did because it ended 2007, 2008.
2008 was when it ended.
2007 was one of the best years for anime ever. So give it another 2 years maybe to get the licenses and then dub them. They would have had so many bangers.
Oh yeah, they all went to
anime
Adult
just got
Swim instead.
so I know, but I don't know. Anime got so popular after that. Like,
and it's only getting more
they should have kept
popular.
it going. Yeah. But respect to Toonami. Thank you for bringing anime into our lives.
Exactly. Without Toonami, we honestly none of us would probably even be anime fans. At least not the way we are now.
We may somehow still have ended up, but it wouldn't be the same.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So
like I often think Dragon Ball, but more than Dragon Ball, it's Toonami. Because Dragon Ball could have just been one show, like one and done. Like, okay, I watched this Japanese show once. But they just kept bringing me more and more.
It's because they're like, this is successful. This show in Japan is doing well over here. All we have to do is pay actors a little bit of money to come and record 20 minutes of lines.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to do it well.
For sure, back then. No offense to dubbing back in the day, but yeah, they don't even have to do it well.
Bad.
For sure. Yeah. I liked Dragon Ball, though.
I think what
Dragon
they need
Ball's
to do
dope
with
as
all
hell.
these old anime, because I think the reason it's hard to go back to old anime, especially if you're wanting to watch in English, is the voice acting is so hokey.
I mean, I don't want to watch it in English, honestly. That's not me. Only Dragon Ball. It's the only one.
Well, what I'm saying is, if they're going to keep these shows out, they need to just redub some of these shows. They did it with
they did.
They did it with Saint Seiya. They redubbed
And with
that
Dragon Ball.
No, I mean, like, with a modern cast. Like in Dragon Ball.
Well, I guess Dragon Ball kind of counts if you say Dragon Ball Kai.
Yeah, I mean, and they've also have redubbed Dragon Ball, the original cast, like 4 times.
I don't like Bulma's as Monica Rial. Okay?
I've gotten used to her. She's fine.
I've gotten used to it as well, but when I go back and I hear old Bulma, I'm like,
fits a lot better, but I don't think any of the other voice actresses Funimation has could have pulled off.
Yeah, she's fine.
Bulma.
She does Bulma fine.
I don't know anybody that could have done it better. I think Monica's one of their best voice actresses, and I don't know anyone that could have done it better. And she does it well. It's just not.
Why did they change her? Did her voice actors?
I looked it up recently. I can't remember what happened. It's I really can't remember what happened to her. I know what happened to Frieza's original voice actress. She was like, yeah, my voice is actually this deep, and I can't talk like this.
Bro, Chris Ayres, he died.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah, he died. No, I knew it. I'm saying it.
Yeah, he died last year, I believe. The year before that.
Rest in peace, man. No, it was really recent.
He hadn't been voicing Frieza for a while, though. He hadn't voiced Frieza.
Yes. No, yeah. But
like he hasn't voiced him.
I liked him as Frieza. I like
him a lot better than the woman that does his voice.
Me
Not
too.
that
I liked the original one, but
she sounds She sounds creepier in a sense that like it doesn't. She sounds more inhuman, which I like a lot. But the other guy sounds more. Whereas she sounds more like a bratty child, and that's how she plays Frieza, as a bratty prince. I like that he plays more of the bratty, elegant prince. He's more, oh yes, let's fight.
I liked both, honestly. I really liked both.
Whereas the original, she would have been like, all right, let's fight.
It was good, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not bad.
It.
It's just her voice is so good, but that's why I don't think she could handle doing Frieza anymore because her voice is quite deep for a woman.
Yeah, and well, that was one of the things too that as a kid made me think Frieza is a woman because it was like his voice sounds like a woman.
So many people thought he was a woman.
I really thought he was. Yeah, I did not believe it was a guy. And when they said like he with like referring to Frieza, I'm like, nah, they're confused. That's a woman.
That's funny.
All right, okay,
let's move on to my recommendation. My recommendation of the week is a show called Primal. It is 2 seasons right now. I assume with the way they ended the 2nd season that it will probably get a 3rd and probably keep going.
This is a pretty new show?
Oh, yeah. It came out in 2019, I think is when it started. It is by the same guy who does Samurai Jack, and it takes place in a fictionalized prehistoric setting where dinosaurs and humans actually live together. and it's about this one caveman and a dinosaur. Their names are Spear and Fang. There's no talking in the show also. There is 100% not one line until the last 2 episodes, most recent episodes.
So like Samurai Jack. I mean, there is talking in Samurai Jack, but it's not as
even
much,
worse.
right?
And the talking you do hear is a foreign language. It's a language that we're not meant to understand.
This looks really cool, actually.
It's awesome, dude. It is so
I googled it.
cool.
It looks really cool.
It is so
This
cool.
does give me those Samurai Jack feels.
It's only 12 episodes right now. It's only 6 episode seasons because it's 2D animation. That's a lot of money. So I really, I don't want to spoil anything. All I can tell you is if you like really, really hyper violent shows that have a lot of heart and incredible fights and incredible animation, this is the show for you. And when I say violent, I don't mean, I mean it is brutally violent.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm seeing a lot of blood.
The first episode, honestly, if you aren't hooked, I'm not gonna, not gonna continue. I'm not gonna continue.
Okay.
Because I was talking generally to the audience, not to you, but I don't want to overhype it for you. Check it out. Very, very worth a watch.
Yeah, this looks actually really cool.
Heck, I give you my
we'll
HBO if you want to watch it.
I'm a bit busy. I'm a bit busy with other things.
I don't think you
I
get HBO in
I
the
legitimately want to watch this. I mean, I can use a VPN.
It's true. And we could always save that for when you get back and talk about it in person too,
For sure.
or
for
even
sure.
watch it
yeah.
in person.
Yeah, I'm gonna have time. All right. Well, good talking to you again, Dakota.
Good to
And
talk to
I
you, my
guess,
friend.
guys, thanks for listening. Next week we're gonna be talking about Adult Swim, at least part of the time.
So no kids in the
Not sure if it'll be
pool.
the whole time or not, but yeah, keep them out.
Might even make that
Don't
episode
want
a
them
little
in
more raunchy.
If you want to, it's up to you. It probably will end up being at least a little bit, just off of the nature of some Adult Swim shows.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, thanks for listening. And what do we say now? Stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy. Yep.
Stay nerdy, guys.
Talk to you later.